I've been walking on eggshells my entire life, tiptoeing delicately across the dead bodies of everyone's feelings, sensitivities like a hive that spreads across the inner face with every smile. Yesterday, I tiptoed right across the metaphorical fence surrounding the monastery my son now calls home. I imagined my knees would buckle, that having not seen him for 14 months, then seeing him, laying eyes upon my man-child, would cripple me, bring me to my knees. He stood at the bottom of the formidable driveway in tie rice paddy pants, faded by so much sun in the 110-degree Redwood Valley heat, a sweater and beanie because it was 9:08 a.m. and the fog, just lifted, had yet to make way for the unrelenting heat to follow. I hugged his paper body, his one meal a day sleeping on the wooden floor for 2 years paper body. I had imagined fireworks and tears, but it was just a hug, like you might receive from an old man who is not trying to hold on to anything. All day I sat with monks and my son under the radiant light of 1,000 Buddhas, everywhere placed as if they could spring as sturdy and resilient as the rosemary, the lavender, the varietal grasses, the quiet. I did not want to break the thin veil my son had placed between us, where his privacy could not be alarmed by my motherly instincts. His shoes are too small. Why does his ankle click when he walks? Why isn't he finishing his meal? Should I continue to give Anjali with every bit of discourse to the monks? Does he belong here? Will he ever come home? My son is finding home where his heart is. A 2-hour drive, sometimes 1,000,000 miles away from the speedy finality of his childhood. My boy. Eggshells are all the questions I am trying not to ask while he is discovering his own true nature, the one that is bigger than both of us, role-less and free. When I come home last night, I was exhausted, all that undistracted attention to being in the auspicious moment like a naked lark in the rain. I ate a handful of small dark chocolate peanut butter cups, one after the other, hardly even chewing, all the while unloading and loading dishes and squirrel caging my brain into oblivion. This is where I buckled. Not my knees, but my arms, hands shaking a tremor of sorts, collapsed fingers drifting away from my body, these hands made empty again with leaving. How I had taken his as he walked me to the car and held it. I closed my eyes thinking this may be the very last time I hold my son's hand in mine. The rules of a monk, a letting go of something I am made of. He tapped me kindly to bring me back to the parking lot and retrieve his hand. He smiled, some way new. I cannot say what goodbye is, or even hello. I do not know what I mean by a paper body or letting go, but I know that in my bones it is happening, and I am shelling eggs like shucking oysters at a 4th of July beach party, roughly and robotic, this time without gloves. Small shards cut my thinning skin without malice. I bleed only because I am human. What I woke to is a bracelet made of mala beads, for prayer, I suspect, or chanting. I'm trying to learn to meditate from the inside out instead of the other way around. He crocheted me a little hat, which would make me weep if I could cry. When I say little, I mean I had to fold it once over my already enormous head, and still it covered my ears and brows. And isn't it perfect? What saved me really was not that I got to see the kuti in which he every night lays his head, or that I got reassurance from so many lay people and monks what a fine young man I had made, as if I could ever take credit for this gentle giant in front of me. No. It wasn't even watching his effortless way through the property, or imagine his 40-minute walk to and from his kuti in the forest, sometimes twice a day. What saved me was when he told me it took him 5 months to make my hat. I pretend it was the 5 months I didn't hear from him, as if he just mindfully considered his mama out there lost and was crocheting me a path, one loop after the other, home.